What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Alicia. I'm coming to you today with video number 2, and I am talking about changes. A lot of times, people need changes. A lot of times, we make changes in our lives, and if people are used to us doing one thing, or used to us saying one thing, or used to us a certain way, or whatever, they don't understand when you make changes. And this all came from um, a friend. This all came from a friend. Yeah. One of my old friend from my past came and basically, called me today, and he's just like we basically talk or whatever, but he couldn't understand the fact of I pulled away from him. He looked at it more like, oh, it was a bad thing, the fact that I pulled away, or the fact that I was changing. And I had to let him know, like, oh no, changes, like I said, people don't understand changes, so they might not understand you, and it's okay. Okay, yeah. But back to what I was saying, a lot of times people don't understand changes or whatever, and that's okay, because not everything has to be explained, or not everything can be explained. I was just telling him, like, I pulled away from you because I needed to make changes in my life. Like, I am going on 25 years old, and I'm like, where am I? What do I have to show for 25 years? Like, I remember growing up, my biggest dream was, basically be an inspiration, or be a better, a big influence on somebody else. Basically, this is what I'm trying to say. And now it's at the point where it's like, whose life have you inspired? Whose life have you touched? And I sit back and I'm thinking, and I'm like, man, okay, maybe, yeah, maybe I didn't touch somebody's life, but maybe it wasn't in a positive way. So I'm at the process in my life where I'm making all these changes and I'm doing all these things because I basically, it's time to grow up. Basically, I was talking to my brother and telling him, I'm growing up, I'm coming to a different place in my life, and I'm seeing a lot of different things for what they are. People, they don't understand it. Like, I'm not going to say all my friends don't understand it, because I have some friends who are very understanding and very accepting of the changes that I am making. They understand, they accept it. They're like, you know what, girl, go for it, because that's a good thing or whatever. Then I have friends, well, I wouldn't even say they're friends anymore, because like sometimes you outgrow people, and it doesn't, make you guys enemies or whatever. It's just like you don't have the friendship you used to have. So I have people now that I was friends with. They don't understand it. They're just like, why are you doing all these? Why are you making all these changes or whatever? And why you trying to do that or whatever? And God understand you young. Everything is thrown at you. Everything is said to you when you're trying to do something different. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. You could wear a different pair of shoes one day, and people are used to wearing the same pair of shoes. You can wear a different pair of shoes. You're gonna have somebody say, I don't like them shoes. Just because it's different, just because they're not used to it, that don't mean that it's a bad thing though. Cause I mean, like, I know within me that trying to follow Christ, or trying to follow God and trying to walk right is not a bad thing. So I'm gonna continue to strive for it. But yeah, so he called me today. Back to the topic. He called me today, and basically, he was like, I thought we had something going and all this other type of stuff. Me, just like my personality or whatever, I used to say, oh, I'm a big flirt and all this other type of stuff. No, I'm not, because you take people take things how they want to take them, and I never try to mislead a person or whatever. I never try to mislead a person. So people take things how they want to take them, and we had a couple conversations, and there was times he made me laugh or whatever, but at the same time, like, I kept it on a friendship basis. And he was like, I thought we had something going. Then I look up one day and I'm like, I look up one day and you don't call anymore, you don't text anymore, and all this stuff is going on. I'm like, well, I had to make some changes for me. I told you that I was making changes. When I first started talking to you, I was like, you know what, I'm going through a lot, I'm making changes, all this other. I mean, and I'm going through changes, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you basically have to people basically try to call your bluff, like, oh well, such and such. Like, what's that all about? If I told you this, what did you take it for a lie? Did you think I was lying? And now that you see it, you kind of mad and you're in your feelings about it. Why? For what? The greatest thing you can do is say, you know what, I support you, because then you get a lot further, and we might can continue our friendship if you be supportive to that person. Like, he wasn't even trying to hear it. He was just like, well, you don't call me anymore, and you don't do this. I'm like, you know what, I'm in a place in my life where I've always had a boyfriend. I always had some type of dude there or whatever. And it's like, I've always had a boyfriend. I always had some type of dude there. And now it's just like, I want to be alone. I'm comfortable with it. I want to follow God, and I want God to lead me to somebody. I don't want to have to find another dude. I don't want to look for another dude. I'm not looking for that. Like, yes, I do in the future want to be somebody's wife, but right now I just want to be Alicia. That's it. Just Alicia. I just want to be Alicia, and that's it. And it's like, my life will mean nothing if I don't follow God. If I go to hell behind trying to be popular, trying to hang out, or trying to club, my life meant nothing. I don't want to be that person whose life meant nothing, or I don't want to be that person who sends another person to hell. Basically, I want to be that example to where somebody say, you know what? Throughout all she done, she made it. Throughout all she been through, she made it, and she's doing right. She's doing good. I want to be that example. I want to be that one where you say, you know what? You, who is God? Who is God? Because you are so on fire for him. You are so radical about him. You are so in love with him. Who is God? I want to know that person like you know that person. That is the person I want to be. I don't want to lead another person to hell. Um, I remember when she first got saved. I remember it. And she was like, mom was like, Julia got saved today. I'm like, oh, for real? Like, it's awesome. Like, I grew up in church. So even though I did wrong, like, I still was happy for a person when they got saved. I was still, that's good for them. Even though I did wrong. Like, I knew it was wrong. And I knew, all the things that I had been doing. But it was just like, I'm still happy for that person. Um, but I remember when she first started or whatever, and I was just thinking, oh, she changing. Oh, did you see this? And she'd be like, no, I ain't see that. I don't watch that no more. I'm not into that or whatever. And um, well, she don't want to come talk. So she was like, I don't do that no more. I'm not into that and all this other type of stuff. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. And in life, when you making changes, especially positive changes, especially changes walking with God. When you make the change and decide, you want to live right and you want to walk for Jesus and you want to be saved, if you stick with it, God will send you friends. He will send you people that will support you and motivate you. Yes, at first it does feel alone. I'm going through the whole alone phase myself. And that's basically why I started the videos, because I want people to know and to understand that, it does get lonely at times or whatever. It does get lonely at times, but that does not mean I'm going to give up. That does not mean I'm going to change. Another one of my friend guys, he wrote me on Facebook today, and I was sitting there talking to him and all this other type of stuff. And, he was like, hey, come out, hang out. And I'm like, I'm not feeling that. I'm not into that anymore. And he was like, oh, okay, well, well, what you been up to anyways? And I was like, just studying, hanging out with my kids, sleeping really. And he was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, oh, okay, what life changes are you making? And he's just like, oh, I'm I supposed to lead God's people. And I'm like, okay, but you trying to get me to come hang out. Like, I'm not downplaying that by any means. I feel like that's a great thing if you're leading God's people to something great. But first, you have to lead by example, which was one of the things that really got me to look at myself in the mirror, that really got me to change and say, okay, you know what, enough is enough. Like, because I got children. How can I look at my children and say, okay, you're supposed to do this. Okay, you're supposed to do that. Okay, this is how you live. This is that. And I don't lead by example. Your children's greatest example is you. You're your children's greatest example. And if you're not doing right, how do you expect them to do right? How do you expect them to to do anything? Children follow by example. If they see this man, that man, that man, that man coming in and out your house, when they get older, this man, that man, that man, that man, that man gonna be coming out of their house, because that's all they see. That's all they know. So, and they're like sponges. They draw everything in. They absorb everything. They suck everything in. So I took a step back and I looked at Alicia in the mirror and I said, you know what? This is not the person you want your kids to be. This is not the person that you should be. So I couldn't do it anymore. And I drew myself away from everybody, because a lot of the other times where I said, you know what, I'm gonna live right, I still ran with everybody. And like I said, when you're trying to do something different, everybody does not understand that you're trying to do something different. Everybody does not understand that you're trying to walk different. So if you're hanging around a bunch of people and they don't understand, or they're doing wrong, eventually you will go back to doing wrong, because you'll feel like, oh, nobody understands me. Everybody I hang with, nobody gets that. So I pull myself away from everybody. And I remember, like, I say this prayer all the time: God, if there's somebody in my life who doesn't need to be in my life, who doesn't need to be around them, let me see that. Let me see that. Not only let me see that, help me, give me the strength to pull away from that person, or pull that person away from me, because I don't want anything standing in the way of me doing right or giving it my all. Anything, anybody, they must go. So my mind went blank. Anything, anybody, they must go. Um, looking back, so like I was saying, looking back, the first couple times I, decided to give my life to God, I went back to my old friends. I went back into it. And like I said, they didn't understand. A lot of my friends didn't go to church. A lot of them didn't come from church backgrounds. And me, I go to a holiness church. Holiness. And they didn't understand it. Like, oh, I remember some days I would wear my skirts to school. Um, just because, I like wearing my skirt. Some days I would wear my skirt, and I'm grown in college, wear my skirts to class or whatever. And, my friend would come pick me up from school. One of my homegirls, she'd come pick me up from school. And she like, girl, I got that long skirt on. It's too hot and all this other type of stuff. But to me, the skirt was fine. I was comfortable in it. It was fine. She didn't understand that. And if you're not a strong person and you're trying to do right, stuff like that can affect you. Stuff like that can make you not want to do right because it's just like, okay, yeah, this dude looks stupid. You start feeling like, okay, yeah, I do look stupid in this. Even if you didn't feel that at first, you start feeling like that. So when you making changes, you do have to pull yourself in and be alone, and just get in the presence of God. And He will send you friends. He will send you people to hang out with. He will send people that'll be an inspiration. He will send people that you can call on the phone, that you can talk to. All kinds of amazing things, like he would send people that you could talk on the phone with. I don't know, where you may be in life or what church you go to, but like I have amazing church leaders. I do. I have an amazing bishop and amazing first lady. And I called her up and I'm like, hey, I sent her to church. And I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you or whatever. And she gave me a phone number and I called her up and I'm like, hey, I'm at a point in my life where I'm changing. And I don't need to be attached to the people that I'm attached to. And she was like, anytime you need to talk, you can call me. I'll be there. And that one thing made a difference because it's like, okay, well, you know what? If I can call her and talk to her, that I don't need to call my homegirl who sleeps with this man or goes to the club and all this and ask her for her opinion because she not gonna understand. I really call my first lady and talk to her. And sometimes you have to do this. Sometimes if you don't have a friend, go and talk to the leaders of your church. Go and talk to them. If they're anything like mine, if you go to a church where you cannot talk to your leaders, find you a different church home. Like seriously. Because you should be able to. That's what they're there for, to guide you in times like that. So I mean, that's basically all I had to say today. I hope that somebody else is inspired or encouraged by this. Do not give up the fight. Do not stop. Yes, it does get lonely. Yes, it does get hard. But keep going. Keep going. I kid you not. I noticed it a long time ago. A long, long time ago. The first couple times that I gave my life to Christ. That even the most peaceful times in my life have been when I was in church. The most peaceful times in my life have been when I was doing right. When I was doing wrong, I had to worry about that girl didn't like me. When I was doing wrong, I had to worry about people coming in my house, stealing from me, people coming in my window with guns. I remember that. Like yesterday, I was in my house and this guy I was talking to him, and we break up. And I'm like, you know what? You can't live here no more, all this other type of stuff. And he called me and, he was like, somebody in your house, somebody in your house. They told me somebody was in your house. I'm finna come in your house. All this other type of stuff. And I'm like, whatever, whatever. But somebody was in my house or whatever. This is the life of sin. This is where it gets you. Prime example. Yes, somebody was in my house or whatever. And so he was like, somebody told me somebody was in your house. This man crawled in my window with a gun. Crawled in my window with a gun. Slapped me in my face with it. Just like that. What if he didn't? What if it wasn't a slap? What if it was a bullet? I could have lost my life and died in sin. Lost my life and died in sin. That is how real it is. Stick with it. Stick with the church, because you you never know what day, what minute, what second will be your last second. You don't expect things like that. You don't know. Don't take life for granted. I took life for granted so many times when I was doing wrong. And looking back, it was so many times when the devil really was just trying to take me out. Trying to take me out. My daughter was inside the house when this man was coming in my window. He could have killed my daughter. All because I'm being stupid. All because I'm out there living a life that I shouldn't have been living in the first place. So stick with it. I promise it's worth it. Yes, it does get lonely when you first starting out, but as I said, God will send you people. God is gonna send me some people. Like, he's still working on me. I'm still going through the fight. Yes, I still have my struggles. Yes, I still sin. And I still repent day to day. And I keep fighting. I keep going. I messed up so many times starting out. Yes, I messed up. And I remember like, oh God, I messed up again. And in that second, the devil was like, you already messed up. Might as well keep going. And I was like, you know what? No. I'm going to repent. And I'm going to keep coming to church. And I'm going to keep praying. And I'm going to keep reading my Bible. Because if I go back into it, I might not make it back to church next time. So I hope my life is a blessing to somebody out there, inspiration. Like I said, please comment, subscribe to my channel. Tell me what you think. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. Thank you for listening. I hope everybody out there is blessed. If you're watching this video, I hope you're blessed by this video. I'm sorry if I talk too long. My bad. It was just something I wanted to get it off my chest, something I wanted to do. Thank you and have a blessed day.